Hi, everybody. I'm Greg, Bioinformator on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Moxfield. And today we're doing something slightly different. Today I got a mail drop from Queen of Cardboard. So she's a big personality in the EDH community, and she does charity streams and chat chaos and all kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, for one of her charity efforts, I bid on some mystery booster packs and a double masters booster pack. And then when she was getting ready to head to CommandFest and was trying to sell some stuff, I decided to pick up the rest of the mystery booster packs that were left over. And I believe, as a surprise, this print came. I don't think I bid or won this, so I think this is like a bonus gift from Queen of Cardboard, Beth. So thank you. And if I'm wrong and I won it, it's cool anyhow. Um, and for the packs that were opened on the stream, these are the uncommons from the Double Masters pack. So there was an Aether Mage's Touch, a Selesnya Sanctuary, Mentor of the Meek. Then as a rare, there was a Grim Flayer, and there was a Panharmonicon. So Panharmonicon is like, that's a cool card. Then out of the mystery boosters, which really are more of a mystery to me because I don't know what kind of stuff you're actually supposed to find in there. Uncommons, there was a Cathodian, Sidraxis Spectre, Chart a Course, was an uncommon. There was a Guided Passage, Mizzix's Mastery, Kolaghan's Command, and then here we get to these little convention special dealies here, or the playtest cards. So there's Barry's Land, which is a basic land cloud with add colorless. And there's Scaled Destruction, which actually sounds interesting. So choose one or more, destroy all small creatures, destroy all medium creatures, or destroy all large creatures. So a small creature is a total power and toughness of 4 or less, medium is 5 to 8, and large is 9 or more. So I actually think that's fairly cool because a lot of times you don't if you're doing tokens and things are small, you don't want them to die in a wipe. And if you have something big, you're okay with smaller stuff going. So that actually intrigues me a bit. And also, Queen of Cardboard went ahead and signed this Colossal Dreadmaw for me. So that was a little surprise as well. But here we have these mystery booster packs. So I'm going to go ahead and crack them and see what kind of stuff we get. I'm not always going to know whether something is a big deal or not. We shall see. Okay, so for our first pack, Undo Greathorn, Jeru's Resolve, Ojitai's Breath, Arcane Denial, Voracious Null, Trial of Ambition, Hammerhand, Voldaran Duelist, Hack's Favor, which actually interests me. It's got Convoke on it. I'm toying around with a deck where I'm going to be using Convoke, and I'll see how that works out. Experiment 1, I'm noticing that some of the cards that are here in the Mystery Booster pack also ended up in the Double Masters. Experiment 1 is one of them. Underworld Coinsmith. Constellation. Whatever Underworld Coinsmith or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life, and you can do white and black, pay 1 life, each opponent loses 1 life. Okay. Field of Ruin. So you can get colorless, or you can sacrifice it and destroy a target non-basic land. So that can be useful. We have Kirvik's Torch. So interrupts that target Kirvik's Torch each cost an additional 2 to play. Kirvik's Torch deals X damage to target creature or player. So X and a red, so you can throw some damage at someone. I'm presuming... Yeah, I mean, I don't know pack-wise whether this was supposed to be an uncommon or a common. The set symbol, it looks like it should probably be a common. Okay, Djinn of Wishes. Djinn of Wishes enters the battlefield with 3 wish counters on it. 2 and 2 blue, remove a wish counter. Djinn of Wishes, reveal the top card of your library. You may play that card without paying its mana cost if you don't exile it. Okay, and our special playtest card is Krosan Adaptation. So enchant creature, Storm. When you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has vigilance. I had just looked up the prior special cards and playtest cards, and I guess that there's a distinction maybe with the printing or something. So this doesn't have a planeswalker symbol. So I think it's maybe a later printing, because the ones with the planeswalker symbol are worth more, as far as I can tell. But still, we'll see how these things go. Okay. Get into the next pack. This one may have been one that was opened on stream and just wasn't destroyed. The wrapper wasn't destroyed as much. Yeah, so these are out of order. There's a Graveyard Dig. So return up to 2 target black or green creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. You may cast the spell for 2 and black green hybrid mana. If you do, ignore the bracketed text. So, okay. So if you pay a bit more for it, then you don't have to restrict it to black or green. Evra Halcyon Witness. So lifelink, exchange your life total with Evra Halcyon Witness's power. Oracle of Nectars. So X tap, you gain X life. There. Tectonic Edge. So add 1 mana to your mana pool, or 1 and tap and sacrifice. Destroy target non-basic land. Activate this ability only if an opponent controls 4 or more lands. So, don't be too mean with it. But still, people don't like mass land removal, but I think in the deck I'm thinking of, someone may want to remove a land in particular. So we'll see. Corpse Jack Menace, this is like a go-to in counter decks that are Golgari or more expensive colors than that. I think the thing I'm working on now is Selesnya, so green and white, so um, I can't use it in there, even though I want to do counter stuff. Sylvan Scrying is an uncommon. Uh, Gift of Growth as a common. Mog Fanatic. I'm guessing that that could be an uncommon. Bring Low. Windgrace Acolyte. Vessel of Malignity. Leapfrog. Leapfrog has flying, and as long as you've cast an instant or sorcery, spell. Kiora's Dam Breaker. Okay, so that's got to proliferate on it on an enter the battlefield. Collar the Culprit. Apostle's Blessing. Okay, so this one's a surprise pack where I haven't seen any of the contents yet. Okay, we've got Angel Song to prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. So, fog kind of deal. Rootborn Defenses. Populate, and creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. This is actually a card I was looking for my new deck. It looks like it was from... Okay, so it was from Modern Masters 3, so I might not have that sitting around in my bulk somewhere. But yeah, that's a good thing. Predict. So this one's an uncommon. Yeah, to choose a card name, then target player puts the top card of the library into their graveyard. If that card has the chosen name, you draw 2 cards, otherwise you draw a card. So I guess that's very situational, and where maybe the top card has been revealed. So that you know what you're dealing with. Because how are you going to guess a card out of the Magic catalog? Augur of Bolas. Merfolk Wizard. Dukara Scavenger. Daring Demolition. Still in commons. Torch Courier. So, a goblin with haste. You can sacrifice it to give haste to someone else with maybe more power. Mutiny. So target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to another target creature that player controls. So, Woolly Loxodon. A morph card. Dawn's Reflection. So enchant a land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 2 mana in any combination of colors. So I may find a use for that. I'm heavy into green. I've been doing mono green in my decks right now. So my next one's going to be Selesnya, I think, if I can make the idea work. But I'm always open to mana tricks, so that's cool. And it's only a common. Contraband Kingpin. So okay, so now we got an uncommon. So lifelink, whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, under your control, scry 1. So Breaker of Armies, so an Eldrazi. All creatures able to block Breaker of Armies do so. And it's a big beater at 10-8. I mean, it cost 8 to get it out, so if there's a way of cheating it out, that would be great. Then you can draw fire and swing out with other stuff. Weathered Wayfarer. So this is, I'm guessing this is a rare. Search your library for a land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Play this ability only if an opponent controls more lands than you. So I think that's White's way of giving you some ramp in a fairer way than Green gets away with. Then we have a Night Howler as a rare. Some enchantment creature horror. A Bestow with 2 and 2 black. If you cast this card for its Bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. And Night Howler, an enchanted creature, each gets +X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. So that could be good. Okay. The test card is Pithing Spyglass. Has card name, enters the battlefield. Name a keyword, ability, or ability word. All cards and all zones lose that keyword, ability, or ability word, and all text tied to that ability. It's a card name. Not quite sure exactly how that works. So is the card name something? Is the card name this? Or is the card name something else, and then you're just able to just pick whatever? Well, that could be dangerous to someone's strategy. Someone like says, you can't use trample. That would kind of nuke some of my strategies. Divine Favor. Sandstorm Charger. Gaseous Form. Tidal Wave. Shambling Attendants. Grim Affliction. Blastfire Bolt. Nope, that's still common. Fervent Strike. Seek the Wilds. Gift of Paradise. Mercurial Geists. It's an uncommon. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it's got flying. Mercurial Geist gets +3/+0 till end of turn. Okay. So if you're doing something where you're casting a lot of those in a turn, a lot of instants or sorceries in a turn, I'm guessing that stacks. Okay, so we got an uncommon land, a Tomb Refuge. So it enters the battlefield tap, but when it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life, and then you can tap and add black or red. Oh. Lotus Petal. So sacrifice Lotus Petal, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Play this ability as a mana source. So it's a 0 drop. So guessing it's common, although maybe that might be something that's more sought after. Revel in Riches is a rare. So whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap. Sacrifice the artifact, add 1 mana of any color. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. Okay. Well, I think getting the treasure is cool. I don't think winning the game because you have that many treasures, especially in the current meta with all the treasure cards, I don't think that part would be fun. Um, Pure Steel Angel is the test card, so it's flying indestructible. When card name enters the battlefield, exile all artifacts that aren't colorless. Um, Whenever card name deals combat damage to a player, you get an emblem with, if you would lose the game, instead your life total becomes 20, shuffle your graveyard into your library, you lose all poison counters, and you lose this emblem. Shuffle. Wow. That probably can be annoying for opponents. And I'm grokking that the okay, so here's another one that was probably opened on stream. Yeah, I forget how many of these I bid on. I was trying to keep the donations going in the stream, so I probably bought a bid on more than I intended. Um, so this test one is enroll in the coalition. Sorry. You enchantment, you are a flag bearer. While choosing targets as part of casting a spell or activating an ability, your opponents must choose at least one flag bearer if able. Um, hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly how that plays out. And I don't know if that's something that you do to your opponent because you want them to get targeted by bad spells, or yourself because you want to get targeted by good spells. Um, hmm. Yeah, interesting. Precursor Golem. Um, when Precursor Golem enters the battlefield, put 2/3/3 colorless Golem artifact creature tokens onto the battlefield. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell that targets only a single golem, that player copies that spell for each other golem that spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those golems. So I wonder if you use that. It's another one where whenever player casts an instant or sports, yeah, so whether you're casting it or whether another player is casting it, it's gonna influence whether that's a good thing or not. Okay, we have Draco as a rare artifact creature dragon. Draco costs 2 less to play for each basic land type among lands you control, so you want to be playing multicolor. Flying at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Draco unless you pay 10. This cost is reduced by 2 for each basic land type among lands you control. Okay, so if you're playing 5 color, then this card will be more reasonable. It is a 9/9, but that's not meant for monocolor. Kazandu Refuge. So it looks like this is an uncommon, yeah, uncommon land. It's another tap land, and you gain life. Okay. Gift of Orzova. Venom Sliver. I haven't been willing to to play slivers. I don't have the most expensive slivers. I mean, I've got Sliver Legion from opening up time spiral. Um, but I'm not my playing doesn't go back that far to have a good sliver base. Plus, you have to have the right play group to appreciate slivers. Um, Timberwatch Elf. Target creature gets plus S plus X until end of turn, where X is the number of elves on the battlefield. Yeah, I played like the Lathril precon and maybe messed around with it a little bit a while back. Was it Lathril or Lathiel? Whichever one it is. But yeah, the elf deck, the elf ball deck. But doing kind of plus X stuff is something that I do, but I like it to be more broader than just elves. Act of Treason. Bomber Corps. Urborg Uprising. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand and draw a card. Breeding Pit. Enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. Sacrifice Breeding Pit unless you pay 2 black. At the end of your turn, put a 0/1 black Thrall creature token into play. So each upkeep, so you're paying 2 to get a 0/1 Thrall. So I don't know if that doesn't sound like a terrific exchange rate to me, but if you have doublers out, maybe it makes it token doublers or something. Wavewing Elemental. Dreadwaters. Forsake the Worldly. So exile target artifact or enchantment with cycling 2. Okay. Aura of Silence is an uncommon. Artifact and enchantment spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. Sacrifice Aura of Silence, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So you can tax people for putting out artifacts and enchantments. It's 1 and 2 white, so I think there are cheaper artifact enchantment removals, but having the tax effect maybe makes it worth the extra. Prowling Caracal or Carousel or Caracal. Okay, so just a vanilla cat. Sky Hunter Skirmisher, flying double strike. Wall of Frost. Man of War. Ghoul Caller's Accomplice. So, Vampire Lacerator. Vampire Warrior, common. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life unless an opponent has 10 or less life. Blazing Volley. Okay. Blazing Volley deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control. It's sorcery. I don't know as much about red. I know that there are some spells. Some of them are maybe expensive spells, but there are things that can multiply the damage, so you could maybe do some shenanigans with that. Shock. Glade Watcher. So it's got Formidable for a green. Glade Watcher can attack this turn as though it didn't have Defender. Activate this ability. Only if the creatures you control have a power of 8 or greater. Okay, so it's a 3/3. Okay, Cultivate. That's a perennial. Mortify. So destroy target creature or enchantment. That's also for 3. Sigil of Valor. Uh, Whenever a creature attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end turn for each other creature you control. Equip 1. So it's cost 2 to get out, equip 1. So that's not too bad. Huh. Yeah. So I mean, if you have um, a token deck, but you actually want to Voltron the creature you got, that could work nicely. Okay, so this one I can barely read. These white cards, these older style white cards, it's hard to see the text. Okay, Lash Knife Barrier. When Lash Knife Barrier comes into play, draw a card. If a source would deal damage to a creature you control, it deals that much damage -1 to that creature instead. Okay. Uncommon. Sword of the Animist as a rare. So, equipped creature gets +1/+1. And when a equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. So it's a 2 and a 2. 2 to get out and 2 to equip. Okay. This one's got a bent corner as a playtest card, but Visitor from Planet Q. Instant creature Alien. All creature cards you own with Flash are instants in addition to their other types. Whenever you cast another spell with 2 or more card types, you may draw a card, then discard a card. Okay, here's another one that was open. Probably see, yeah. So I think when they were opened on stream, the good stuff went on top, probably. So, Large Pox. Okay, a lot of text on this one. Each player discards a card, then loses 1 life, then sacrifices an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, a land, a planeswalker, and a tribal permanent. Then exiles a card from their graveyard, then puts the top card of their library into their graveyard, then removes a counter from a permanent they control, then gets a poison counter. Okay, so that's just, all kinds of meanness, but it happens to each player. So, yeah. I haven't played Mono Black yet, so I'm sure they can profit off of the misery. Reality Scramble is the rare. For target permanent, you put target permanent you own on the bottom of your library. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card that shares a card type with that permanent. Put that card onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Okay. Centaur Glade as an uncommon, I think. Yeah. So 2 and 2 green, put a 3/3 green Centaur creature token into play. It's an enchantment. Ashnod's Altar. So sacrifice a creature, add 2 colorless to your mana pool. Yeah, I haven't gotten into the sacrifice sub-theme in my decks yet, but let me get around to it. Draconic Disciple. A human shaman. Tap, add mana of any color. 7 in tap. Sacrifice it. Create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. Um, hmm. Crop rotation is common. We have revive as a common. Zealot of the god Pharaoh. Proud's favor. Gurmag Angler. Stinkweed Imp. Coral Helm Guide. Caller of Gales. Zealous Strike. And Oust. Okay. This one's a new one. Okay. Lint Sleeve Artisan. Sacred Cat. Laboratory Brute. Sage of Latnam. Crow of Dark Tidings. Fallen Angel. Flying, sacrifice a creature. Fallen Angel gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Yeah, so I mean I mainly play green, so that's what I know, and so that's what I'm most comfortable chatting about. So I'm sorry if you're, a big fan of the rest of the color pie. But Bloodlust Inciter, Hulking Devil, Tukatung Thallid. When Tukatung Thallid dies, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. Bitterbow Sharpshooters, so Vigilance and Reach, 4/4. Still common. Urban Evolution. Draw 3 cards. You may play an additional land this turn. Okay. So if you're in a landfall deck, that could maybe be on the better side. Palladium Mirror. Okay. And Dork. Phyrexian Soul Gorger. Okay, we'll guess that this is uncommon. Snow Artifact Creature Construct. Cumulative upkeep. Sacrifice a creature. Oh. You gotta sacrifice creature at the beginning of your upkeep. Put an age counter on this permanent, then sacrifice it when sacrifice it unless you pay its upkeep cost for each age counter you put on it. The Phyrexian. Okay, so it's an 8/8. You get it out, and if you want to keep beating people with it, you gotta pay for it. Okay, Hornet Nest. That's a good one. It's got Defender. I mean, it's only a 0/2, but whenever Hornet Nest is dealt damage, put that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch onto the battlefield. So I'm planning on abusing this in my next deck. Essentially, you want to get counters on it so that you can at least block with it and at least can serve as a deterrent for people messing with you. Okay, a Plane Merge Elf is a test card. So it's an Elf Warrior. Land Ship. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you may reveal it. If you do, create a 1/1 green Elf Warrior creature token. And that's got Kinfall. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it shares a creature type with card name, um, creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. Okay, so elves and warriors can um, get buffs off of that. Okay, this was another stream pack. I forgot how many of these I actually bid for outright before buying the remainder. Kaya Ghost Haunter as our playtest card. Exile card name, haunting target creature for as long as that creature remains on the battlefield. Okay, so this is a planeswalker card. So these are that's the 0 ability. You can exile. Uh, Number one, you get you can minus counter it by 1. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, this emblem deals 3 damage to the owner of target haunted creature. -2, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, gain control of target haunted creature for as long as it remains haunted. So, yeah, so if it's uninteracted with, you can do all 3. There's no plus ability. So, Goblin Charbelcher. So reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. The Goblin Charbelcher deals damage equal to the number of non-land cards revealed this way to target creature or player. If the revealed land card was a mountain, Goblin Charbelcher deals double the damage instead. Put the revealed cards on the bottom of your library in any order. Okay. Sapphire Charm. So I don't, I can't tell from the set symbol whether this is a common or an uncommon. It's in a slot where probably an uncommon would have been, but choose one. Target player draws a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep, or target creature an opponent controls faces out, or target creature gains flying until end of turn. I'll put it there for now, but I don't know. Fairy Conclave. Fairy Conclave enters the battlefield tapped. You can just tap it for blue, like a regular island. But you can pay 1 and a blue, and Fairy Conclave becomes a 2/1 blue fairy creature with flying until end of turn. It's still a land. Okay. And I'm always chicken about those strategies. I'm afraid of losing the lands, so I'm not enthusiastic about turning them into creatures unless it's gonna win me the game. Law Mage's Binding. Invigorate. Strengthen numbers. So this is one I may be using until end of turn. Target creature gains trample and gets +X/+X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. So there are, better ones that will do it for the number of creatures, not just the ones that are attacking, but still that's not bad for a common. 1 and a green. Fierce Invocation. Miner's Bane. Fatal Push. as an uncommon. So destroy target creature if its converted mana cost is 2 or less. And Revolt. Destroy that creature if it has a converted mana cost 4 or less instead if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. I mean, it only costs one black, but very conditional. Untamed Hunger. Temporal Fissure. Crush Descent. Soul Warden. So, whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life, and it doesn't say non-token. So, for a life gain deck, that's probably not bad. And Dragon's Presence. So Dragon's Presence deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Okay. Yes, I'm being a little bit more chatty for this kind of opening when I open straight box breaks. I'm kind of more business. But I hope you're enjoying the reveals of these mystery packs. Enduring Victory. Champion of Irration. Treasure Cruise. Delve. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting the spell pays for 1. Draw 3 cards. And with a cost of 7 and a blue, you really do need to be doing Delve to make it worth your while. Brilliant Spectrum. Vampire Envoy. Tragic Slip. So, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So, for 1 black. That's kind of a wimpy thing. But it's got Morbid, and that creature gets -13/-13 until end of turn instead if a creature died this turn. So yeah. So if you lose a creature, then you can get your revenge. -13/-13 is a big owie, so you're probably taking out something important. Destructive Tampering. Skirk Prospector. So if you want to sacrifice goblins for red mana instead of flinging damage. Talons of Wildwood. So I've used this before. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. And you can pay 2 and a green to return Talons of Wildwood from your graveyard to your hand. So this is like a worse form of Rancor. I would use Rancor over this in my decks. Nature's Claim. So destroy target artifact or enchantment. Its controller gains 4 life. So it costs, when you need that kind of removal, artifact or enchantment, you're paying 1. You don't like to give your opponents extra life, but that can be worth it depending on the situation. Deny Reality. So this is a common. It's a Cascade one. Okay, Hot Soup. Equipped creature, so it's equipment. Costs 1 to get out, 3 to equip. Equipped creature can't be blocked. Whenever equipped creature is dealt damage, destroy it. Okay, so that one's a little tricky. Because it has to be something you're willing to sacrifice, and it's worth making it unblockable to get some damage through. Master Transmuter. So this is a rare. return an artifact, so it's one blue and tap. Return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. You may put an artifact card from your hand into play, so you're getting a free artifact out of your hand. Um, for the cost of, so it's not free, it's one and a tap, but Shamanic Revelation. Draw a card for each creature you control. And Ferocious, you gain 4 life for each creature you control with a power 4 or greater. And this is probably going in my next deck, I think. I mean, it would probably fit in my current deck, but not as well. So my current green deck isn't as much go wide, at least not most of the time. But when I'm dealing with some tokens, then the danger is going to be that I draw too many. I don't want to deck myself. Domesticated Watercourse. So it's land. Card name enters the battlefield tapped. Add blue or black. Pay blue or black until end of turn. Card name becomes an equipment artifact with equipped 2. Whenever equipped, creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Okay. So that's an interesting use of a land. So here's another opens pack. Golgari Death Swarm. So it's a 4/4 Bat Fungus Horror with flying and vigilance. Why doesn't that have Death Touch? Grasp of Fate. So when Grasp of Fate enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. And then they get their stuff back. So at least that's kind of like a fairer way of stealing things. I like hate when people steal my stuff. I deal with it. I try not to get super salty about it, but that's not my favorite thing to happen in the game. Archangel. So flying and vigilance, a 5/5 for 5 and 5 weight. Crystal Ball. So this is a 1 and a tap scry 2. And okay, so that's what it does. So it's repeatable scry 2, at least once per turn. Bloodbraid Elf. So this is another one that ended up in Double Masters 2022. Haste and Cascade. Okay, Oak Gnarl Warrior. Vigilance and Trample. Wild Mongrel. Sun-Crowned Hunters. Bloodstone Goblin. Gravedigger. Shambling Goblin. Durgar Nemesis. Right into Being. Sorcery. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Manifest one of those cards, then put the other one on top or bottom of your library. And to manifest a card, put it onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature. Turn it face up at any time for its mana cost if it's a creature card. Okay, so you get to if you happen to get a creature, then it's too expensive to cast at the time. At least you can kind of get it out on the field and not have to discard it. Healer's Hawk, flying and lifelink. Survive the Night. So target creature gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. And Investigate. Put a colorless clue artifact token onto the battlefield. blah blah blah. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so we're got a new pack here that wasn't opened on stream yet. God Pharaoh's Faithful. Pressure Point. Calculated Dismissal. Frost Lynx. Annihilate. So destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated, and draw a card. So that's 3 and 2 black for all that. Well, card draw is always important. So maybe that works out in balance. Rot Feaster Maggot. So when it enters the battlefield, target creature card, exile target creature card from a graveyard, and you gain life equal to that card's toughness. Okay. Good old Fireball. Fury Charm. Destroy target artifact. Target creature gets +1/+1 against trample. Till end of turn, remove 2 time counters from target permanent or suspended card. Okay. Savage Punch. That's just kind of like an awesome expression in the art. It's just kind of, yes, this dude is punching a bear. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, and Ferocious, the creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn before it fights if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. So in the kind of deck I build, that kind of fits a lot of the time. Backwoods Survivalists. So Delirium, Backwoods Survivalist gets +1/+1 and has trample as long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. I think. Yeah, I mean the graveyard stuff. I mean, I did have a Marin in the deck at one point, and that was cool. But in the kind of green decks that I'm playing, I'm actually, my graveyard doesn't always get that full, so I can't depend on that working out for me. Trying to use things that use the graveyard as a resource. Sultai Charm. So destroy target multicolored creature, monocolored creature. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, or draw 2 cards, then discard a card. It's for 3 colored pips. So that Gruul's Signet. Okay, this one's a common. You can tap to add red-green. Perish. Destroy all green creatures. Those creatures cannot be regenerated this turn. Yeah, that would suck for me. Well, Teferi's Protection. I mean, yes, this is. I'm seeing a lot of overlap with some of the stuff here with the Double Masters 2022. But Teferi's Protection, that's always good. Frenemy of the Guild Pact. As a test card, protection from enemy-colored multicoloreds. So the creature can't be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything that's 2 enemy colors, such as blue and green. Yeah, and on these test cards, I have no idea which ones are worth anything. I mean, I know that there's okay, here's one that's been opened before. There was, there's like the Slivdrazi or something like that I think, that's like a big one. But other than that, I don't know what's good or not. Form of the Muldrifter. So it's a tribal enchantment elemental. When card name enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. You may cast creature cards from your hand as though they were the card Muldrifter. Um, you can still evoke this way. They're Muldrifters. Okay. Yes, I haven't really played blue yet. So, Mind Spring, um, draw X cards, so X and 2 blue, and you draw as a rare. Uh, Hunter of Eyeblights. When Hunter of Eyeblights comes into play, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you don't control. And 2 and a black, tap, destroy target creature with a counter on it. Okay, so I don't think you can keep track of, you don't keep track of who put what +1 counters on what, so yeah, so you could take something out. Not bad. Blinding Soulkeeper. So to a common. Okay. Bear's Companion. So that's yet another one that was in Double Masters 2022. Aggressive Instinct. Target creature you control deals damage equals to its power to a target creature you don't control. So I like that sort of thing better than the fight cards because you're safe. I mean, you don't have to depend on your creature fighting and then maybe being evenly matched and dying. You can just do the damage, you know. Blanchwood Armor, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each forest you control, which that can definitely work in my favor in my decks. Chartooth Cougar, Incorrigible Youths, Haste and Madness, 2 and a red. Okay. Street Wraith, Swamp Walk Cycling. Okay. The deck that I'm working on will have some Swamp Walk. I mean, have some Forest Walk in it. And I don't think that's, you know, the walks aren't as common in the meta, so I don't know how that's going to go over. Duress, Thornwind Fairies, Drag Under, Core Sky Clamor, Soul Strike Technique. Okay. See, we got 2 packs left. And it looks like they're both new ones, so there'll be surprises. I mean, even the ones that were already opened were kind of surprises because I didn't exactly keep track during the live stream of every detail. Lotus Eye Mystics, Core Hookmaster, Jeskai Sage, Ojutai Interceptor, Ambitious Aetherborn, Balustrade Spy, Bombard. Bombard deals 4 damage to target creature. Genju of the Spires is an uncommon. Enchant a Mountain. Enchanted Mountain becomes a 6/1 red spirit creature. Until end of turn, it's still a land. When Enchanted Mountain is put into the graveyard, you may return Genju of the Spires from your graveyard to your hand. So, if you lose your mountain, at least you get this back. So, I mean, six damage. So maybe that's one of the better uses of sacrificing a mountain. As long as you've got enough land and other ramp otherwise with rocks and things or rituals. A Siege Worm. So this is one that will go in my new deck because it's going to evoke and it's got trample, so it's got a keyword on it. So if you're already kind of going wide with tokens, then you can afford to do some tapping for convoking and make it much cheaper to get out. Duskwood Baloth. Okay, so it's one of these suspend cards. Sprouting Thrynax. Okay, they must have been using. This is kind of like a test case for Double Masters 2022. There's a lot of overlap here. Ornithopter. Okay, so this is a 0-drop. Common 0-drop. So it's got artifact creature. It's got flying. And yeah, so that's what it does. But it doesn't cost anything to get a body on the field. Greater Gargadon. That's something that I think also is in Double Masters 2022. Not worth much in that set, so I'm assuming it's not worth any more here. Whelming Wave. Return all creatures to their owner's hands except for krakens, leviathans, octopuses, and serpents, or octopi. Yeah, so that could be fun if you're set up for if you're the theme of your deck will leave you with those kind of creatures, then that's cool. Not everybody's expecting that card to hit. Okay, Guerrilla Tactics is our test card. Create a 2/2 green gorilla creature token, and when a spell or ability an opponent control causes you to discard card name, create 2. Okay, so if someone makes you mill this, no, or does that work? Yeah, I'm not sure how is milling discarding. I think, unless maybe that's coming from the library, so maybe that doesn't work. So they would have to tell you to discard. But anyhow, the benefit is getting 2 gorillas instead of 1. If it happens that way. Okay. Oreskos Swiftclaw. Take Vengeance. Anticipate. Seagate Oracle. Doom Dissenter. Bartizan Bats. Wojcik Bodyguard. Roast. Ancient Verontodon. Crowned Ceratok. Coiling Oracle, which is also in 2022, Double Masters. Skull Clamp. Well, those come in handy. Hurricane. So Hurricane deals X damage to each creature with flying and each player. So for the cost of X and a green. Fibbleflip. The Lost. And Code Etlon Shill's Envoy. Legendary creature. Homarid Warrior. All lands are islands in addition to their other types. Other homarids, carnarids, cephalids, nautilids, and merfolk you control get +1/+1. Okay. So it's kind of like, yeah, Yavimaya or Urborg sort of deal for the lands. So, I actually have a stream coming up in an hour. I'm gonna, yeah, so this is Saturday, July 23rd. Yeah, so Your Dead Next Turn has invited me to a stream, to a spell table game that they're going to record and will eventually end up on YouTube. So I am not going to look these up right now. But you know, if you're interested, there's these are the ones I got. And I don't know if I should be freaking out over any of these. I don't think so. I don't. I mean, this one sounds interesting. But I don't know that it would be worth a lot. And it looks like, you know, since these are the printing without the planeswalkers, they're probably not worth as much anyhow. But they're fun and interesting. I don't know if I will, you know, be in a pod that will allow use of these or not. But there's some cool stuff in here, and you know, the portion of the proceeds went to charity, and the rest was to help fund Beth getting to CommandFest Orlando. So all for a good cause, and I thank Beth very much, Queen of Cardboard, for sending the stuff out. Yeah, here's the print again that I'm pretty sure came as a bonus. So thank you. And I'll see you next time when I have something else to crack. You know, I bought a lot of the Dominaria United in pre-order. So we'll see if everything comes through, and you know, if we get any of those hidden treasures cards, and all that kind of jazz. But anyhow, I hope everybody's having a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.